On, on behalf of Dr. D.Y. Patil Management and Dr. D.Y. Patil Law College, I welcome Advocate Ganesh Swamy sir, our Honorable Secretary, Dr. Somnath Patil sir, my colleagues, and my dear budding lawyers. Our law college is established in the year 2001 under the able guidance of Dr. P.D. Patil sir, Chairman, Unitech Society, and Chancellor, DPU, D.Y. Patil University. We have 3 years, we have 5 years LLB, 5-year PSL LLB course, as well as we have in taxation law, labor laws, and we are proposing forensic science diploma as well. We emphasize on the practical training of the students. For that, we organize moot court, not competition, but court presentation, in which we make it a point that every student is coming in front of us and he is arguing, as well as we organize various events like High Court visit, observation center visit, juvenile center visit, as well as we also give them training, police station training, that they should know what is Muddemal, what in which way the police starts investigation. That is 8 days program we and we make it a point that students should get all the professional knowledge or practical knowledge. Whenever a student is passed from this college with his professional degree, they must possess professional knowledge, professional etiquettes as well. A student should be well equipped with his professional knowledge. We make it a point that he should do all these things. Today, we have organized this lecture for the students to be acquainted with various avenues available to the student on the legal horizon. Now the thing is, माना कि पैसा खुदा नहीं है, माना कि पैसा खुदा नहीं है, मगर खुदा की कसम खुदा से कम भी नहीं है. So all these exercises for the success, and success is counted in terms of money, fame, and not to forget, we must add that satisfaction. I again thank our management, Unitech Society, as well as I'm very much thankful for his wholehearted support. And I'm thankful to Sony sir that he has accepted our invitation and to address the webinar. And I'm sure he will guide to unlock your great success. Thank you very much. Sony sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, Principal Ma'am, for supporting us and helping us. Now I'd ask Rohit from BLB second year to give a brief introduction of our honorable guest. Rohit.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today in today's webinar on the topic Career Opportunities in Law. I am Rohit Raj of BLLB second year, present before you on the behalf of Dr. D.Y. Patil Law College family to welcome our guest of honor, Advocate Ganesh Swamy sir, who is a senior advocate at the Bombay High Court and Panel Council, Union of India. It is a pleasure to have you, sir. I would like to start by giving a brief introduction about Ganesh Swamy sir. Sir has completed his BSc Mathematics from University of Mumbai, and after graduation, sir did his BLLB from University of Mumbai itself to pursue his career in law. Sir started his practice in District Bar Association from the year 1986. Ganesh Swamy sir was initially a civil lawyer, but his gradual inclination and keen interest towards the criminal side eventually proved him to be a brilliant criminal lawyer too. Sir has been the legal advisor to various newspapers. He has conducted dozens of criminal trials and also has experience in revision applications, criminal appeals in magistrate and session court proceedings. Sir is now working as a senior panel counsel for Union of India in Bombay High Court, City Civil Court and District Courts of Thane, Alibag, Panvel and Kalyan. Sir has also written paper on anti-terror law after parliament attacks, which has got the distinction of being the first paper published in this field. This paper was published by University of North Carolina and is still used there as a reference material. It's an honor for me to welcome such a dignitary for today's webinar, and I hope that the webinar would prove to be enlightening and fruitful for all.
Without any further ado, I request our reverend guest to please begin. Over to you, sir. Sir, unmute yourself, sir. Kindly unmute yourself, sir.
Unmute.
Yes. Good morning to you all. It's a great pleasure. It's great pleasure to be participating in this interaction today through the way of video conferencing with your DY Patil Law College students from Pimpri. And this is our second interaction in the same. Just 3 days back, I had a privilege of interacting with your all faculty members, and I just wanted to know from them the kind of difficulties which the student community could be facing and which they could be exchanging with these faculty members, how they are confronting with the present situation as a whole, and then their syllabi, their academic pursuits, so on and so forth. After interacting with them, I got a lot of insights as to what areas you could be worried about possibly. And mind well, this is our first exercise today on 11th of August. There will be one more session on the 13th that will be in depth, and that will be pertaining to how you could be a successful lawyer. And today our discussion is confined to career opportunities after you complete your LLB graduation. Now one would wonder that everybody's impression is this, that once you pass out LLB, you will be automatically becoming a lawyer. I mean, you will be wearing a black robes, so on and so forth. But that's not the case. You will, apart from advocacy, there are at least 8 to 9 different avenues are there where you can make up your own career. Now, what are those 8 to 10 avenues are there, career opportunities are there? Everything we'll be discussing. But before I dwell on that, I'd like to tell you how our entire life, what we are going through once we come in this part of the world by way of our birth, and once we depart, when this Atma leaves or it leaves your soul or body, till that time, your entire life, right from birth till date, is governed by law. Mind well, when a person is born, obviously he's born, he's just few hours or few days old. Then one of the first tasks which his parents are required to do these days is to report the birth of their kid, whether male or female, whatever, to the local Gram Panchayat, local municipal council, local municipality, or municipal corporation, wherever the persons are situated. So the first thing after a person comes into this world, their parents are entrusted with the responsibility of reporting the birth of their child. And this reporting of a birth is governed under the law, which is Birth and Registration Act 1969. So once you come into this world, your birth is reported under the process established by law to the local municipal body or Gram Panchayat, whatever. Then as the kids grow by, the kid is put into the school. At school, when it calls a school, when you call it as a school, then it comes to college and all that. It's a right to education. There is also a law which is in force for more than 15 or 20 years in this. After you complete your SSC or HSC, you go for the graduation, arts, commerce, science, etc., engineering. Your college from where you take an education is associated with one university or the other. All these universities, especially let us talk about Maharashtra scenario, we are having Maharashtra Universities Act that is in existence. Now, all these universities in turn, they are governed by the apex body, which is UGC, University Grants Commission, that is in existence right from 1956. There is also a law called UGC Act. There is a law to that effect. Many of you may not be possibly aware. Now, after you complete your graduation of whatever stream, arts, commerce, science, engineering, medicine, law, etc., some of you go into the employment. Some of you go into the government employment, some of you go to the private sector. Now, when you go into government establishments, let it be Gram Panchayat, let it be Tahsildar office, collector office, Maharashtra government office, this is all revenue establishments. There are Maharashtra civil service rules are there. So rules are also part of the laws. And those of you who go into private sector, their earnings, their earning or their association with their employer is governed by the various laws. Now, if you happen to be a worker, I mean, you are in industry, factory of that sort, then you are having industrial laws are there. Then you are having labor laws are also there. So again, your association with your employer, that's a governed under the law. Now, if you are not a laborer, if you are not a worker in that sense, if you go into private establishment, then your employer is governed under the Contract Act. They give the terms and conditions that whatever salary will be offering, you will be like, if it is acceptable to you, you accept it, and then your association with them as employer and employee, it starts. So there is also Contract Act 1872 is involved. Thereafter, now all of us, we are habiting somewhere. Some of them are in Charles, some of them are in buildings, some of them Bangalore, some of them in towers and all that. And all our dwelling houses, our places are in some Gram Panchayat. There is a Gram Panchayat Act. Some of them in Municipal Council. There is a Municipal Council Act and Nagar. Some of them are in corporation areas like Mumbai, Pune, etc. For Nagpur, there is a 1949 Independent Act is there. As far as Mumbai is concerned, we are having Mumbai. Previously there was a Bombay Municipal Corporation BMC Act 1888. But now as Mumbai stands converted into Maharashtra, they have made it as Bombay became Mumbai. That BMC Act became MMC Act in 1888. Then for Nagpur, there is independent law also there. 1849 Municipal Corporation of Nagpur, that law is also there. Then apart from that, all these premises where we are staying, let it be residential premises, let it be office premises, let this be a college premises, whatever. All the constructions and all that, that is also taking place under the laws. There is a MRTP Act is there, and all this council, municipality act, there are also building regulations are there. Since 3 years back, we are having National Building Code is there. So your all construction has to be as per the law. So this is also, our dwelling is also governed. Our education is also governed under the law. Our earnings is also governed under the law. And if at all there is any dispute, then such dispute, there are various authorities which are established under the law. Then we come to how do we sustain ourselves? We don't just sustain by only employment and all that. You have to consume some food. Now, I don't know how many of you are aware, and all those vegetables are seeds-based vegetables, and all these seeds, let it be tomato, let it be sunflower, let it be onion, let it be corn, let it be, cotton is also there, the cereals are there, pulses are there, all are there. There is also law that is called Seeds Act. Are you able to see this? This is Seeds Act, which is also in force, and all these essential supplies, foodstuffs, they are covered under the 1955 Essential Commodities Act. Just showing you. This is a ketchup and this is some Nescafe. Now, this is all we consume during the day. Some of you you'd be using with this breads and all that. This is a Nescafe. Some of you might be consuming tea also. This is also, it comes under the Food and Drug Administration, what we call FDA. This is also authority having headquarters at Bombay, Bandra, Mumbai, BKC complex. Also governed under the law. Our vegetables are also covered under the law. Now, all those medicines which we consume, if suppose we are not well, even these medicines are also covered under the Drug and Cosmetics Act. Cosmetics, as we are aware, female fraternity is much concerned with it. It is their part and parcel of their daily life. So all their cosmetics, powders, lipsticks, and everything, whatever they use for their beauty purposes, that is also covered under the law. Then now many of you are at home now interacting with me, but some of you might have traveled. If you have traveled by two-wheeler, if you have traveled by rickshaw, if you have traveled by taxi, or had it not been a pandemic, if the trains were traveling, if trains were in operation, or flights were in operation, all these modes of transport, for that matter, are governed by the law. 3 days back, there was an air crash at Kozhikode in Kerala. So all that air operations, our flights and all that, that comes under the Air Corporation Act. We are having sea ferry is also there. So that is also Maritime Act is also there. Our all railway movements of our persons as well as goods through railways, goods train or passenger train. There is also a law called Railways Act 1989. Then, as I mentioned about the vehicles, 2-wheeler, 3-wheeler, 4-wheeler, etc., buses and all that, those are also coming under the Motor Vehicle Act. Many of you must be having driving licenses. As of now, these driving licenses are obviously issued under the Motor Vehicles Act and the rules made there. All these vehicles are operated either by petrol or diesel or gasoline, whatever. There is also Petroleum Act to that effect. Now, I mentioned about the transportation, I mentioned about the food, I mentioned about your employment, source of earning, education, etc., etc. Then we come to very personal issues concerning ourselves. That is our family life. For family life also, there are family laws are there. There are laws relating to succession, laws relating to inheritance, law relating to adoption and engagement, that is matrimony. For matrimony also, there are laws. Once you perform the marriage, A male performs marriage with the B female, then that marriage is reported to the local registrar. That is also under the provisions of the law. So there is any marital discord is there, if the couple cannot get along with each other, then for that matter also, for the dissolution of that marriage, we are having family courts over there. Apart from that, our overall life is governed by some system. That some system, it is a seen system or it is unseen also for that matter. Now mind well, the sources of all the laws in India, this is the foundation, this is the basic document. All the powers to lay down the law, powers to create the laws, this is the basic root. This is the source of generation of all the laws, whether state act or a central act, whatever. Now, in the national scenario, we are having parliament, which are having 2 houses. Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha is also there. Then they pass the resolution, any bill that is put up, there is a discussion among the members of the parliament. Once the bill is passed, it goes to the president for the presidential assent, then the gazette is made, then that law becomes into effect in operation. Similarly, the arrangement is made at the state level also. We are having state legislature. It's a bicameral also, but in some state there is no council, what we call a Vidhan Sabha, Vidhan Parishad for that matter. So Vidhan Sabha and Vidhan Parishad, I will purposely use some Marathi terms so that people will get easily familiar with that. So this Vidhan Sabha and Vidhan Parishad, they passes a bill that is late. It could be a government bill or it could be a private bill also. Once that bill is passed, governor gives an assent for the presidential reference also. When the gazette communication comes, then that law comes into effect. Now, if it all is then a dispute pertaining to the laws and all that, then where these disputes will be resolved. For the purpose of the resolving of the dispute, if that dispute is of civil nature, we are having civil courts. And if the dispute is pertaining to any crime, then to record that crime, to investigate that crime, we are having crime authorities, that is the police establishment. Now, all these things, they are tried before the criminal courts, the civil disputes are tried before the civil courts at junior division, at senior division also. There is an appellate civil forum also where civil appeals, miscellaneous civil appeals, civil revision applications are heard. Then there is criminal also in MM courts, Metropolitan Magistrate or MFC in the Taluka level. Then we are having Sessions Court. Then we are having High Court having civil and criminal jurisdiction and writ jurisdiction. Then ultimately there is a Supreme Court. So the judicial gradation, I should say, which is concerning directly or indirectly to us. Then mind well, in our life, there is also a place for entertainment. Without an entertainment, your life will be tasteless, I should say. Now, what are the source of entertainment for you? Some of you are watching movies. Now, these movies are also covered under the Cinematographic Act. It is of it's a pretty old act. These movies, there is a censor board also to that effect. Then some of you read books, some of you read newspapers also. Now, later on, I'll be telling you, if you are a law student and if you want to go through, then these are the two prime newspapers which every law student, right from first semester till 10th semester, you must read. There is no excuse to that effect, because these are the two newspapers which essentially cover maximum law related, directly law related or indirectly newspaper in the format of a newspaper. But these are the two newspapers. Print everyday editions are these days, because of pandemic and lockdown, is still there. These are not being circulated, but these are easily accessible on the internet after a subscription. Also, these are paid websites, in fact, now e-papers. And so these are also governed under the Press and Registration Act. Now, if somebody
Which
A
paper
writes
have they, sir? Which paper?
Indian Express and The Hindu. Indian Express is published from Pune, also print edition, and Hindu is now in Mumbai, but that is basically Chennai, Madras-based publication, having all over printing arrangements throughout South India, but it has made inroads also in North India, also in Gurgaon, Delhi, and I feel in Chandigarh also it is published, if I mistake not. So The Hindu and the Indian Express, these are the two prime newspapers in our country that gives maximum coverage to law-related news, parliament news, assembly news, bills, discussion, and very good thought-provoking articles are there. If you habituate yourselves to read this kind of news, your marks will reflect in that. I mean, your comprehension level will be very high when you learn the law. Your absorption level will be also high when you learn the law, and your reproduction level when you answer the queries, I mean questions in the examination, your production, your ability to answer the question in depth, covering all aspects of the law or the issue involved, or the way the examiner expects you to write, everything will be covered. Therefore, day after tomorrow when I'll be talking to you again, I'll be elaborating much more on that. Now today, so this is pertaining to newspapers also. Now, if there is anything written ugly by Mr. A about Mr. B and it is published in the newspaper C, then there is also defamation. And this defamation, there is also independent defamation law, but we are having IPC provisions of 499 and material is covered. Now, so this is a passage of persons' birth, education, employment, marriage, extracurricular activities, entertainment activities are covered. And those who complete 60 years of age, if you are a government servant, yet then you get a pension. Even for pension also, there is a separate pension act. And after everything is over, when a person breathes last, obviously he can't go and report his death to any municipal council. It is his relations or his legal successors, just like the kid's parents are required to report the birth of a kid. So when the person dies, his immediate successors or friends or nearest relation will be reporting the death. And so that death is also reported under the law. It is the Birth and Death Registration Act 1969. So that is how in sum and substance I have given you I have encompassed person's journey right from birth till death. Everything is covered under the law. Now, our today's topic is essentially pertaining to the legal avenues that are available to you once you graduate as a LLB. Now, might well, I will be just first reading all these avenues which are available, and later on, I will explain you the significance of it. Once you pass out, and I'm sure many of you who have joined this 5 years course of LLB having 10 semesters and all that, I guess that 99% of you must be intending to be a good lawyer. I mean, you want to enter into legal profession, you want to wear a black robe. This is a litigation is the first area where you will be entering. Then if you're not comfortable in going to the courts, spend the time right from 11 to 5 o'clock. Sometimes you get a brief, you get a client, you don't get a client, you have no patience. I mean, there are some family compulsions are there for which, and it's an uncertain profession. Today you may get some new client or might not get also. So if that is the case, then you can join the law firms if you don't want to be a day-to-day lawyer in the courts. If that is not there, then you can join some companies as a legal advisor in those companies also you can join. Then if you don't want to be a lawyer till your death, I mean till your throughout the career, you can also join the judiciary for that matter. For that you have to appear for certain examinations which are conducted by the MPSC. and you get recruited as a judicial magistrate first class, I'll take one by one everything. Otherwise, you can become a legal advisor also. In many banking institutes, they do require a legal advisors for their banking operations. A lot of real estate companies are there. A lot of private sector companies are there. A lot of manufacturers are there. They all require. So this legal advisor is another occupation, that is the fifth. Sixth is the public prosecutor. So you will be appearing throughout your tenure on behalf of the government in all the criminal matters. Then you can also become a professor if you pass out after LLB, you complete your LLM. Then professorship is also one of your areas where you can go. And the most important one, which some of you should definitely, I will request you to ponder over it, UPSC and MPSC and UPSC examination. Let us go in ascending way. Civil services in nutshell. Now in the morning I had sent across to your principal madam one book front page that is of Malayalam Manorama, is a very popular Malayalam newspaper from Kerala. But though it is a Malayalam newspapers, it comes once in a year these days around fourth week of every January. It covers the preceding year's developments in all fields, all sectors, politics, defense, sports, everything, whatever happens. It gives you huge information about your state in which you are there. It gives huge information about your country. It gives comparative information about 176 countries on this earth. It gives you practically everything. Now, those of you, it's not that you are a law student, therefore you should read it. Malayalam Manorama annual number. Even if you are a commerce student, even if you are an art student, I would urge your brothers and sisters, whoever are in the streams, arts and commerce, they should also habituate themselves to read Malayalam Manorama. And at the stroke of a new year, once the January comes by, New Year's, once 1st January passes by, your attention, whether it comes at a newsstand or it is reflected on the Amazon book section. It's hardly costing 220 or 40 bucks, but the kind of knowledge you'll be deriving, that will be very, very useful even for you for the preparation of your LLB or even LLM exams. Now, once you inculcate a habit of reading this Malayalam Manorama book, you can seriously think of joining the civil services. Civil services is nothing but concerning our revenue administration, which is concerning IAS, Indian Administrative Service. There is an Indian Police Service is also there. There is an Indian Revenue Service is also there. There is an Indian Railway Service is there. Indian Postal Service is there. Indian Foreign Service is there, where our diplomats, ambassadors, consul generals are made and sent, etc., etc. It is all concerning the governance. It could be revenue governance, it could be police governance, it could be external affairs, economy, blah, blah, blah. Arvind Kejriwal, the Delhi CM, is coming from the revenue service. He's a IRS, Indian Railway Service man. He's IRS. He was one of the toppers at that time, relevant time in late 70s or early 80s. That is what we are told so. So civil services, MPSC and UPSC, if you appear for the MPSC, if you get through, you can easily become a deputy collector to begin with. If you pass Indian Police Service, then you will immediately joining as an additional SP somewhere in some district. Along with your SP, you have to work for till your apprenticeship is over and all that. So civil service is also area where you should also seriously think of for joining. Now, thereafter, I'll be coming to Advocate General, but that is a very tall order. They have mentioned this, but I won't dwell much on that at this juncture. It will be very premature to do so. Then, most important is the legal journalism. Mind well, the reporting of a legal news. Now, many of you who are witnessing currently this Sushant Singh murder case, especially all English news channels, I should say. I don't want to name them, but if you are observing all, because two channels, they have deliberately created a controversy on this. But practically all English news channels, they are having their law correspondent, or what also they call as a legal editor. So everything pertaining to the law, judiciary, all that, every news goes through them. I mean, they just authenticate it. They see whether this is correct or not, whether any defamation is involved in that or not. So legal journalism is also area where you can seriously think of by joining a newspaper or joining any news channel. Or apart from that, there is a legal book publishing sector is there. Or all reference, they are published by some legal houses. Universal publication is there. In Delhi, once you go to Delhi, you will find in Delhi East, if you go, you will find dozens of publishers over there, one shop after another, all publishers of various kinds, including the legal also. So Pioneer and Universal, they are very famous. In Mumbai area, formerly it used to be TN Tripathi, who used to publish Ratan Lal and Dheeraj Lal series, which are our basis or the foundation for becoming law 30-40 years back. But that is now become a little bit obsolete. Some other new publications have come into market. So Nexus Lexus is also another important publication from Nagpur. Wadhwa publications they are. So they are providing excellent legal books. So you can work in these legal books publications also, or you can join All India Reporter. You can work as a legal correspondent. Somebody can work for a Supreme Court cases correspondent in Delhi, but that is essentially Delhi publication because Supreme Court is based in Delhi. But All India Reporter, it does carry the judgments of other high courts also. So you can be a representative of this AIR publication or some other publications. We do cover our Bombay High Court judgment also. So you can be the High Court, or you can be a district reporter for any newspaper also, or you can be a legal editor of any newspapers also. So the publication area, which essentially covers the angle, the information aspect of it, also investigation if there are crime stories and all that. So that is also another area you can very seriously think of joining after completion of LLB. But why I am using a but and taking a pause is precisely for this reason, that nobody is going to absorb you immediately after you obtain your LLB degree in their occupation. Nobody is going to absorb, you don't get absorbed in any solicitor's firms or any legal associates within few days after you pass out your LLB and get the degree certificate, or you won't be joining any law firms, or no multinational company or simple company will absorb you, the private sector company will absorb you. No bank is going to absorb you immediately as soon as you obtain the degree. Nobody is going to make you a public prosecutor, nobody is going to make you a judge, or even CJ, JD or JMFC for that matter. Or nobody is going to give you an appointment letter that come and start teaching from tomorrow in our so-and-so college. That is not going to happen, because for all these placements, other than legal profession, they do require a minimum 2 or 3 years basic fundamental experience. Suffice to say that they can absorb you provided you are having legal exposure in the courts. Now, the kind of exposure which they could be expecting from you, it could be a Talika level exposure of handling matters, it could be district level handling of matters, it could be High Court level handling of matters, Supreme Court level, but nobody can go to Supreme Court all of a sudden within 2 or 3 or 5 years or so. Remember, legal profession, though it is called noble or even noblest profession, there is no dispute about that. It's one of the best and the noble profession, I should say. But lot of hard work is required, and the gestation period to become a good lawyer, I should say, it is the minimum 5 years. Once you get a law degree, once you passes All India Bar Association examination, and once you are through, once you are allowed to practice, you are also in council, having headquarters at Bombay High Court. Once you get a sanad, what we call, nobody is going to absorb you immediately, as I said. But then for you, the waiting period 5 years. How you should be able to sustain for the 5 years depends upon your patience level. Mind well. Expect unless your own parents, your brother, sister, mother, uncle, mother, sister, what we call Mausi, she's in the profession, nearest one, or your neighbor is there, or someone you are having close, they are in the legal profession, they are ready to absorb you in their chamber, then at least you will get an avenue to practice. I mean, you will be getting better amount of exposure depending upon the kind of briefs which they are handling. So this is how your legal profession, legal practice will start. Now question arises, find well the legal on leave and license basis, some shop, some gala you take, jointly you take 4-5 lawyers come together, they form some association, A and B associates, legal firm, etc., etc. But no, but just your legal lawyer's office is not a kirana shop office or medicine shop. The huge board is displayed. So in a grocery store, lawyer's office is not a grocery store. Even at looking my own board, which is displayed outside my house, I should say, an apartment. In last 30 years, I haven't got even 3 clients just looking at my board. Not even 3 clients. Remember, your name is circulated or your ability is tested by the prospective clients by seeing your performance in the court. Mind well, client community is very sharp. Let me say, sometimes they go overboard and they start giving you, telling you that, sir, in this matter, you use this case law, which is there in Bombay High Court, so and so. They just Google out something and they try to get, especially such kind of advices clients give to the lawyers. And sometimes the lawyers definitely feel irritated that my client is now teaching me that I should use this law and this law, case law, etc. That apart, jokes apart. But legal person's office is not a kirana office or grocery office or any general store. By looking at you, the neon sign, your office name and all that, nobody is going to give you a brief. Prospective client, they just go on hunting you in the court premises. They do observe which lawyer is arguing properly, which lawyer is arguing boldly, with initiative and all that, with some kind of preparation. Then they definitely approach you and they will ask you, sir, tumse card dal kya? Now, when somebody starts asking you, sir, can you lend me your visiting card? Then that's a good sign that people are taking serious note of. They are observing you, they are seeing your performance, evaluating you as to how you are working. And majority in your junior age, the references that counts. The references by seniors, references by retired lawyers, by retired judges and all that. That is how you who accumulate such kind of works. That is source. From the references only you get. I get references from various fields I get because I'm an acquaintance concerned with the police department also. Through my police friends also, I do get their civil matters also, or their matters also. I am acquainted with many political parties. I have friends over there. So that is how you can get a brief through that area also, through that channel also. So by looking at your performance, you will be starting getting briefs and you will be learning law only when you personally handle the brief. You could be a lawyer for the plaintiff in civil suit. You could be lawyer for the defendant in that same civil suit when your friend is on the opposite side. Or you could be handling work on behalf of a complainant when you lodge a private complaint. Or you could be defense or accused lawyer in magistrate court, in sessions court. You could be conducting criminal trials. You could be conducting bail matters also. You could be conducting remand also. You could be conducting bail hearing, conviction related appeals also, so on and so forth. There are n number of fields are available. That everything I'll be dwelling on day after tomorrow in detail at depth. Suffice to say, even if you don't want to become permanently as a lawyer because of financial insecurity, as I said, years is minimum gestation period. Unless your close relations, your father is lawyer, then you can afford to be having lesser amount of brief for next couple of years or so. You can afford to because your father is there, you are aiding and assisting him. So even if you are not having independent brief, that's okay because you are assisting father through your energy, time and all that. Your father or mother or brother assisting that benefit earning. So they'll be definitely sharing some portion of it for your, goodness. But as I said, minimum 5 years gestation period. And when you start the practice, you can't say that I'll only handle civil matters, matrimonial matters. So I'll be only going to the family courts. I will not take any other brief. That I'll only handle labor related or industrial related matter. I will only handle family matters for divorce related or your domestic violence matter. You can't segregate yourselves for a particular kind of avenue in the legal field immediately after you step into profession. That is just impossible because for absorb various kinds of laws. Civil laws are there, criminal laws are there, labor industry laws are there, cooperative laws are there. Consumer area is another area where people have made their career. It's a very good area, definitely. Cooperative courts are also there. Various places where for banking also there is a DRT. There is another fora that is created under the your act enactment is there. So there is no limit. Sky is the limit. It is often said so. So you can't compartmentalize immediately after the starting practice. You should be open to everything that comes to you. Maybe your knowledge of a particular subject could be less to begin with, but never behave in such a way. Never ask such kind of questions to your, due to which he will feel or he will realize you are very raw. You don't know much about the profession, and by asking certain questions, you are revealing his ignorance or you are revealing lack of knowledge about the subject. Then such your prospective client is not going to entrust his matter or a brief to you. So therefore, always, it's our mantra what we always say, that if you come to client, you may not be familiar with the subject because you in the profession. Don't express the ignorance or the lack of knowledge of yours to that client about that particular law or the procedure involved, whatever, etc. Always insist him, because it's my own experience that many clients do window shopping. What we say window shopping, they just go to lawyer A, discuss something, give little sketchy information to him. They try to find out, sir, fee kiti घेणार तुम्ही? How much fee you will charge? Then they say, sir, I am having only some papers are the balance I will bring. Next time I will see you. Then he goes to another lawyer. He goes to third lawyer. That is how the window shopping they do. Lawyers hunting, that is how they do. And they finally end up with some lawyer. So such kind of experience. So it will be very difficult for you to judge whether he will be somebody who's inquiring with you at this juncture, whether he will finally turn up your client or not. It's very difficult to say so. And let me also tell you that there are very bitter expenses also comes up, more so in the family law related matters, where if you are doing family law practice, then you have to ensure that the parties, litigants, if you are a husband or a wife's lawyer, if you're a petitioner's lawyer, get maximum information in black and white or by virtue of email, because many so such kind of even to give instructions to a lawyer, the parties find it difficult. So therefore, when you are handling the family matters, please ensure that you obtain majority of the persons, they are having now WhatsApp or having, you people are having emails also facilities there. If these facilities are not available, the party writing also, or he or she can write on PC, get the printout of it and get the instruction. So especially in marital matters, we always little bit cautious in getting the ensure that instructions are strictly given in black and white to us, so that tomorrow party will not allege that sahib ahe tumhala आम्ही सांगितलं नव्हतं, why did you write? That kind of allegation you should never receive. Whenever it is possible, get maximum instruction even in non-marital related matters. So everything, try to get instructions. In fact, I have laid a format of 55 points or so that has become very popular in our Mumbai and Thane area, because the kind of information which you gather from the parties who come for the matrimonial disputes, everything you get in black and white, that reduces your time. Because in marital matters, parties talk something which is absolutely irrelevant. They just blow up some incidents of insult and agony, etc., out of proportion, and unnecessarily they incur on your time. It does happen so. So whatever the information, if you want to file a divorce on the ground of cruelty, then the client should be able to direct some incidences, 5-10 incidences, where the really incidents of cruelty have taken place. But if they are going away, they are going astray, and they are telling you something which is not relevant, which you can't incorporate in your marriage petition, then there will be unnecessarily spoiling your time and their time also. So marriage petition, though it is a lucrative, I should say so, because I mean, also that apart, monetary aspect that apart, is a very challenging area, because it is pertaining to our matrimonial sort of a training period. There is a typical word, it's a vocation period where you really learn the niceties as well as bad things about the laws, how sometimes even the lawyer get duped by your clients. They just tell you, yes, 10,000 rupees, then initially he just give you a couple of thousand rupees. It gives you some very sketchy information that if it is drafting of agreement and all that, then subsequently it doesn't turn up. There are many instances which we have seen. So always ensure that you fix up a fee with your client at the initial stage itself. You tell him that this is a fee only pertaining to the particular kind of filing of the written statement or filing of the bail application only. We experience as something like that. We charge a couple of thousand rupees, 10 or 15,000 for the bail matters. But the client expect that I should conduct his complete trial in those 10 or 15,000 rupees, which is just impossible. Because to conduct a trial, lawyer is required, defense counsel taking a brief. If you are defending the acts of the accused in the front of the law, you are required to put lot of efforts for that purpose. So mind well that even for deciding the fees also, you have to be very firm, but always ensure that you don't quote any exorbitant fee because of which the client will go away, and neither you should quote a lesser number of fee just with an intention that you should be able to retain that client, but there you will be incurring your own loss. Because if your neighbor lawyer, if your person having a office or a chamber next to your chamber in Pune Bar Association, then if you are quoting him 3,000 where your neighbor is going to quote 5,000, he is going to quote 5,000 rupees. You don't cause loss to yourself. So whenever the fees are to be charged, now luckily if many of you are from Pune, because it's a Pimpri-Chinchwad based college, your Pune Lawyers Association diary is very excellent. I should say, I should compliment to your people because they have laid down the fee structure over there. And mind well, this is all I am telling you about the litigation. Apart from litigation, there is another area where you can make up your career, is the drafting and pleading concerning to conveyance related matter, where you can draft the affidavits, you can draft the power of attorneys, you can draft the gift deeds, you can draft the agreements for sale, agreement for purchase, hypothecation agreement, mortgage, lot of agreements with the deeds. There is also you can make earning something by taking a search report and giving title clearance certificate. But mind well, all these banking institutes who want to lend to their prospective borrower, their condition precedent that the lawyer who should be giving your title clearance certificate should be having a minimum 3 to 5 years experience. So unless you attain that level of 3 to 5 years experience, unless you roam around in the courts, do some practice of 3 to 5 years, title clearance certificate will be having some basis or some respectability or some kind of acceptability, I should say, with which the bankers will be satisfied and they'll be lending the office where all these previous volumes are stuck up, or for that matter, these days everything is computerized in the last 10 or 15 years or so. So to find out the search is not a very big difficult deal as such. You can definitely do something, no doubt about that. So the non-litigation area is also very important. But for that matter, if you want to draft the agreement for the sale, mortgage deed, then for drafting the agreement for sale, your contract law foundation has to be very good. What is the meaning of a proposal? What is the meaning of proposal? What is the meaning of acceptance of the proposal? How the contractual relationship takes place? How the relationship is converted into a contract in black and white on the piece of paper? Whether that contract is required to be registered with the appropriate authority, having certain non-judicial stamps or not. So for that contract law, and similarly your specific law should also be good. Mind well, once after a passage of time, you will learn the art of drafting in such a way that you should always take into account while in that what we call covenants. Recitals in any agreement for that matter is the history relating to that property. On the other hand, after the recitals are over and after this paragraph starts, now hereby parties to this agreement decide to do in the following manner, 1, 2, 3. That 1, 2, 3 is nothing but the covenants, and in that covenants, some duty is cast upon the seller, some duty is cast upon the buyer also. Then you have to ensure whether the time is the essence of contract or not. But for that matter, you have to have a good knowledge of Transfer of Property Act also. So even if you don't want to be a court lawyer and you want convincing practice, what we call office practice, you do not go to court, but you are required to go to some registrar office or search office or cooperative societies office, etc., etc. So for that purpose, contract law, TP Act, maybe some Easement Act, and also MOFA related act, because if it is a pertaining to sale of a flat and you are drafting an agreement on behalf of a builder. Now these days builders, they are having stereotype agreement. They just only write the name and age and addresses of the prospective purchasers. Area differs, consideration differs, or the mode of payment, installment figures differs. Otherwise the entire structure is the same. But many lawyers, unfortunately, very sorry to say so, they forget to write. I repeat the word, they forget to write the provision. I mean, this agreement shall also be covered under the provisions of MOFA 1963. If you are a lawyer, suppose for the flat purchaser, and this not mentioned by very, I won't use the word mischievous or dubious, but very clever builder who doesn't want to incur any liability by incorporating that particular clause, then if you are an advisor for a flat purchaser and somebody comes, flat purchaser comes and he shows that this is the draft agreement given by me by the builder, should I go for the purchase at this flat, shop, gala, etc., etc., then you have to ensure this particular clause is there. If that clause is not there and you still approve your client that go enter into agreement, pay him the money and all that, then you will be causing great harm to your own client. So this is all you can derive only by an experience. And mind well, many of you in this present webinar or seminar, whatever we call, if you have completed your 3 years, that you start going to the court of law at this stage itself. Better make a practice of attending after your classes are over in the college or education. Make a habit of taking around in the court. See how the magistrate court functions, see the civil court functions, how the first appellate sessions or district appellate courts are functioning, how the cooperative courts are functioning, how the matrimonial matters, I mean family courts are functioning. Go to the consumer forum also if there is in your town or city, whatever you are. Just see the practical aspect of it. So before you obtain your LLB degree, if you habituate yourselves of going to these courts, post-less session or whatever as per your comfort level and the availability and the functioning of the court timing, then you will be learning a lot of things by making your presence over there. You will be coming to know the phraseology, the phrases, the words. For that, you have to vocabulary has to be very, very good. And if you are a law student, if you are serious in practicing, then no doubt you are having a lot of web dictionaries, online dictionaries are available. But the real dictionary which I am displaying right now, the Ramanatha Iyer's Concise Law Dictionary. Though this is called a Concise Law Dictionary, this is running into almost 1400 pages. Though this is called concise, you can imagine how much the original big one could be. If you're going to start practice, then this must be with you or in your home or office, even before you pass out your law. Lot of legal phrases, they have been given in detail with the case laws also incorporated in that. So this has to be there part of you, just like for passing out the LLB, Malayalam Manoma has to be there. But for to be a successful lawyer, this Ramanatha Iyer's Concise Law Dictionary is must, it is sine qua non for the purpose of you to enter into the legal practice. Then I'll be dealing with some more aspects that for you to join any other occupational field other than the legal profession, advocacy, as I said, minimum 2 to 3 years practice at the Taluka or district court is imperative. Now you are all, majority of you are stationed in Pune, Pimpri Chinchwad area or nearby area of Western Maharashtra, I gather so. But if time permits you, not every week it is possible for someone, but once in a month, even twice in a month is a bit heavy, but once in a month, try to Bombay High Court, at least on the opening day of Monday or the closing day of the week, that is Saturday. Don't come in between, because once you come there, High Court, you will come to know how the High Court functions. The High Court is a court of records, original records. How it discharges duty as a second appellate court, how its writ court functions, how its original site where the matters pertaining to Mumbai city are handled, how the arbitration related matters are handled. There is succession and testamentary courts also there. There is separate registrar's office is there. How does it function? So I would urge your principal, madam, that if at all you have not undertaken it to Mumbai High Court, I think you must have at least on a couple of occasions after the inception or formation of this college. But if you have not, then I will encourage you, let this pandemic be over, lockdown be over, trend movement start, High Court functioning start with the full strength and all that. You can come there in batches. You can write an official letter to the Registrar General and request them that we want to bring our students in batches of 20, 30s or 40s like that and all that. But there are very good people, some lawyers are there, some court staff will also take you around and will show you how the functioning of High Court takes place, how the matters are called out, how the lawyers over there, they argue on behalf of their clients, be for the petitioner, be for the respondent. How in High Court the lawyers are supposed to talk less and convey more meaning. The most important thing which you have to learn by being a High Court lawyer, lesser number of words, lesser number of sentences, lesser number of consuming the time of the court, because lawyers are there in the queue where the matters are called out in serial numbers one after another. If you miss out your serial number, then the matters are kept back, and by that time your other court's matter are called out. So you have to be very punctual when it comes to High Court. So how in lesser number of time you have to convey your petitioner's case or you have to convey your respondent case. And High Court judges are so well read. They get up, majority of the High Court judges will be, I'm purposely telling you in order to boost your confidence, that many of the High Court judges, they wake up at 4:30 or 5 a.m. in the morning. And before they leave their official bungalow for the purpose, they hardly interact with their family members for half an hour, otherwise they just go reading the briefs. Now, if at all you are undertaking a visit to Pune Court, I will request you people to go to the record room. In the record room of Pune Court or even Pimpri Chinchwad Court, you will find that the disposed of matters. Officially write to the registrar or whoever is their assistant superintendent. Officially write to them and seek a permission to take the inspection of those disposed of brief. Even from the disposed brief also, if they permit you to have an inspection, under the RTI it is possible for inspection for first half an hour, you are not required to pay any fees, but after half an hour so then your paying meter starts. So take the inspection of the disposed of matter. It could be a civil suit also or civil appeal also, or criminal trial resulting to acquittal. If there is no appeal filed challenging the acquittal, if it is a conviction, then obviously R&P will go to the appellate court because the conviction happens to have been challenged by the accused in the criminal appeal, so on and so forth. So simply don't be an examinee for the purpose of passing out the LLB. Your aim should not be merely to obtain or whatever the nomenclature which you are having, because we are all 3-year products. And as I said the other day with your professors and all that, we are all products of Shah and Mehta and Zabwala products. We belong to that kind of area where the rigorous law training, even we did not have a moot court at that time. What to tell you? So if you undertake a visit to the court, it will be very easy for you to get prepared for the moot courts, how you will be doing on behalf of your client, how you have to start, how you have to open up, what we call how you have to open up merely by just addressing just my lord and all that. How do you start? You're representing whom, in what matter, what are the sections involved, what is the issue involved. In short span of time, you have to enlighten the judge. If for the opposite party defending, you have to do in a similar way. So these are all the professional skills, etc., which you will not derive at a spur of the moment. For that, you have to invest the time, you have to invest your energy also, you have to take a round over there. And might well, you are the students as of now. After you complete, if you are in legal profession, you join. I must say that you should be able to spare minimum 3 to 4 days out of 24 hours simply for the purpose of law reading only. Now you will ask me what type of reading we should do. Don't go for the commentary reading. That commentary reading to anything that is okay only for the purpose of appearing for the exams and all that. Go randomly, pick up any AIR or SAC book randomly. just go through, have a glance or have a gaze at the index, or go at the bottom of it, front pages or back end of the book pages, or try to latch on the digest. And you can have all Maharashtra Reporters Civil Digest are there, that covers the all MR civil as well as criminal combined together. You are having BCR Digest are also there. You are having AIR Digest, annual digest, every annual number they come. Supreme Court Digest also, SSC Digest are also there. So try to have a glance at as those digest. I will be explaining to you more day after tomorrow. I'll be showing you, I'll be exhibiting you digest which I'm having and which I'm using for my purposes. Even today, though I'm having many online subscription as of now, but sometimes to go through the digest is also helpful in one way or the other. You won't be appearing purely as an examinee just for the purpose of securing marks, securing some 80%, 90% or whatever, and you have to obtain the LLB degree and you are hurried, you are in hurry, you are in the rush of blood to wear the black coat. Don't be in that mad rush. Because this is a very, very tough profession, extremely tough profession. Try to make a habit of reading the biographies of very good judges. Supreme Court retired Justice Gajendra Karkar, Justice Hidayatullah's autobiography is there. My own Boswell, Justice Thagla's autobiography is also there. Roses in December is very famous. If you habituate with the biographies of retired High Court judges, retired Supreme Court judges, or celebrated Supreme Court or High Court lawyers, or there are many books which are still in the market, you have to just go to the Amazon, go to the book section. You will find compendium of many successful lawyer books are also there. Indu Ban's book is there, which gives the highlight of Bhushan and many other top lawyers of Supreme Court, Gopal Subramaniam and all that, all those things are there, Arvind Datar and all that. So try to go through the autobiography. If you read their personal lives, you will be earning quite a lot. You'll be learning and earning on the basis of that in your professional career thereafter. So reading the biographies, autobiographies of the retired judicial personnel, what we call legal luminaries. Palkhiwala's books are also very famous in the market. So if you go through that also, your legal knowledge will be considerably enhanced. And that will ultimately help you make this habit of reading biographies, even your student age also. That will give you tremendous exposure to the legal field, legal fraternity, their experiences, same kind of experiences you might come across in your profession. Once you step into the profession, once you start wearing your black robe. So this is how I can give the brief highlight of the, task that is laid before you once you step into the profession. We have almost consumed 1 year in the process. Now I'll be welcoming all those queries if you are able to address on the chat box also or through direct communication also. So I'm most welcoming that. Or can I do one thing? I'm able to see the chat box that is displayed over here. One Priyanka Bansode writes, she's second LLB, I guess. Sir, please guide how to become a government lawyer. Now, for you to become a government lawyer, you have to become a lawyer first, number one. And government lawyer means whether you want to become a government lawyer on civil side or you want to become prosecutor side. For prosecutor purpose, there is a director of prosecution is there. They are having criteria. Nobody is going to become your police prosecutor or public prosecutor immediately after you get LLB degree or so. That is not going to, everybody is having criteria of minimum 2 to 3 years experience. And mind well, whenever you prepare your CV and send it across where you want to get some post or the other, everything depends on your oral interview. Your knowledge about the law, your expression ability, the way, how do you convey yourselves, within 2 to 3 minutes, they can judge how much legal knowledge you are having. No doubt your CV could be very attractive and a very nice white paper, nicely printed with color printing and all that apart. So they will test your knowledge, they will test your skills merely by orally interacting you just for 2 to 3 minutes, that's all. So to become a government lawyer, there are definitely criteria are there. So you have to satisfy those criteria. You have to keep tab of such kind of advertisement which are normally displayed in the our district courts showcases and all that. So this is how the criteria is there. Then Vedanta Kulkarni, please guide about government law. It is almost identical. Then can we have opportunities to practice as a lawyer in international air and space laws and in aviation law? Yes, definitely there are opportunities there. But let me tell you, the space law, or I should say aviation law, is at an infancy stage in India. It is not much developed also, because not many cases have come up, although we do have an aviation law, air regulation law also, but not many cases have developed. Their cases have not come up. They have not been pursued to that level. So there are very little case reporting is also to that effect at High Court level or Supreme Court level. But meanwhile, this law has substantially developed abroad, more so in the Western countries, in Europe, and also in America. In fact, I am very proud to say that one of my juniors, she has done aviation in Florida, and now she wants to join legal profession because she wants to be a lawyer.
तू अतला रेल बैठना है एयरपोर्ट ना
Yes.
ये तो एयरपोर्ट
Please
से
guide
नहीं आता है
about, yes, just please don't talk. Please guide about cyber law. Now, mind well, cyber law also is not much developed. It is essentially based on our Information Technology Act 2000, IT law. So this law, it is only pertaining to
तुम्ही सांगी मला सांगत नाही तुला केलं काय
Hello.
बाकी जबरदस्त असा आवाज देत नाही
Participants, please mute yourself. Participants, please mute yourself. Sir is answering to your queries.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, please. Now, regarding the cyber law, I should say, the cyber law is also, though it is essentially based on IT law, Information Technology Act 2000, we are now 2020. I'm very sorry to say it is not yet developed, which ought to have been. Mind well, Section 66A of Information Technology Act, which has been repealed, which has been declared as illegal by the Honorable Supreme Court in Shreya Singhal judgment, 2001-5 judgment. Still, police machinery in some instances I have come across, they invoke this 66A, which stands repeal as on the date in the matter, and they try to arrest. If 66A was used to, when it was used to be invoked, when it was in force, at that time the arrest was permissible. But now that act has gone by, you can't invoke it in first place, neither you can arrest the person either. Now if I am creating a Facebook account of someone by using his photographs in the existing account and all that, and I'm doing some mischief by virtue of that Facebook account or Twitter account for that matter, then there are some other provisions are also, with the help of which I'll be booked under the IT law. 66A is gone, so no arrest. If other sections are invoked, then it's different ball game together. So cyber law, there are a lot of college, even your own college is offering cyber diploma. That is what your principal I would heard when she introduced entire thing in the beginning itself. So cyber law is also very underdeveloped law, which one can make a career of. Then prospects of IP, definitely sky is the limit, because even IPR also it is not equally developed, which it ought to have been. Very few people are, very less number of students go over there and make their career in the IPR related laws. Is LLM required or preferred after LLB to get a job in multinational or international company? Well, for them, the master's degree is definitely, that sounds more attractive. But ultimately, the question, the kind of output you are supposed to give to this multinational company or international company, that is more important. If you are able to give that output even by having simple LLB degree, still they can very well absorb you. There is no difficulty. And it is master's degree, I mean, in particular subject, you are having additional knowledge compared with the others with the same knowledge is the LLB when you are LLB which you are having. So if you want to make career as in teaching profession, then you can go for the master's, I should advise. What are the opportunities after law in civil services? I have mentioned elaborately. In fact, if you get a LLB degree and if you apply and if you go for MPSC and UPSC, you will always be a better candidate by all accounts compared with those candidates who have not LLB degree, because your vision about the functioning of the administration, government administration, will be much broader compared with those who are not with LLB. So those who are thinking for the civil services, I welcome, I endorse your decision. Nice. Guide about how to prepare for the judiciary. Again, for the judiciary, PSC conducts the exams, High Court also conducts the exam. For that, you have to have thorough knowledge of the law. And to gain the thorough knowledge of the law, you have to just go on reading the case laws, High Court judgment, Supreme Court judgment, latch it on the digest of the AIR or SSC or whatever you are having. Then somebody is asking LLM from better. I mean, if you want to practice over here, LLM from India is always better. Can someone start a law firm straight out of college without gaining experience under the law? Senior law firm, do at your own risk and get loan from the banks, set up the law firm, and then go on paying their installments without earning any money. So that is how you will be confronting with. So don't go in such kind of false dreams. Nobody can do that. Yeah, nobody can do like that. Maritime law is also underdeveloped law. Not much things are, not many people are going for that maritime law.
Sir, MAT court for government employees.
Government employees, that is a service related court.
Yes, sir.
It comes under Maharashtra Civil Service 1979. All the disputes pertaining to the services, whether it comes to termination, whether then punishments are awarded after completion of departmental inquiries, then those punishments are challenged. It can be a stoppage of increment, cutting of 1 month's salary. It could be reprimand. It could be demotion also. It could be removal from the service forever, I should say. Everything is challenged. And the Maharashtra Tribunal pertaining to Maharashtra government employees. And if you are a central government employee, then you are covered under the CAT, C-A-T, Central Administrative Tribunal, which is also at CST Mumbai. Then guide about business lawyer. And for business lawyer, you have to be very good in business law. And if you are a BCom or NCom student, I mean, in that background you are having commercial laws, then you could make out a good business lawyer. Sorry for interruption. We have many questions. Can we ask? Oh, yes, you can definitely ask. Yes, please ask. One Prarthana is asking legal journalism. Yes, it's a legal journalism, very good area. Otherwise good area, because let me tell you, I'm little cautious in speaking right now, because once this pandemic is over and this lockdown is over, one doesn't know what the financial or economic scenario that will be emerging across the country. But assuming had it not been there, the legal journalism is a very lucrative and very nice and very challenging journalism, I should say. Then one Reha is asking, while pursuing BLLB, when is the best time to start internships? If somebody say, let me tell you first, one most important thing which I should have initially told you as such. You should be very good in typewriting. And typewriting, it should be real typewriting with real keyboard. With these fingers, you should be able to type QWERT, ZXCY or ASDFG. And with this finger, you should be able to type POI, UN like that. You should not print, you should not type with right hand fingers, the left hand keys, and with left hand fingers, right hand keys. It should be no thorough typing. Why I'm telling you? Because if you are having a knowledge of actual typewriting, genuine typewriting, I should say so, with your own skills, you should be able to type in a faster way. You need not be dependent on the typists who are having their boxes outside your court premises or in their court lobbies and all that, because they are always queued up with a lot of clients and a lot of lawyers like you who want their material to be typed and all that. So you must have a personal good knowledge of typing. If you're well conversant with typing, you should be able to give better output at any time. You need not depend on anybody.
Sorry,
CIT, that is very well. Yeah, please.
I'm so sorry, sir, to interrupt you.
Yeah.
But we have many questions, sir.
Yeah,
so,
please
sir,
ask.
I am
Please
taking
ask.
the questions and
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
sir.
Please
Sir, I'm
start.
taking the selective questions.
Yes.
Yeah. Sir, the first question is,
Yeah.
what are the opportunities after law in civil services?
See, nobody is directly going to absorb you in civil service and make you a Tahsildar or DYSP once you are passed out law. For that, there are MPSC and UPSC are there. You have to appear for the entrance examination, then a final examination, and ultimately, if you succeed in their examinations, then only you will be absorbed as in the revenue side or on the police side, or as I said, if it is a IFS foreign service side. So you, as I said, at the cost of repetition, that you appearing for MPSC or a UPSC with a legal background, with an LLB degree, the chances you of passing through are much, much brighter than any other person who is not a law graduate. Because your view perception about the administration will be definitely higher because you are having a lot of exposure. Ultimately, they are also implementing law. If Tahsildar, if I am a superintendent of police, my subordinates or myself will be applying IPC, CRPC, Maharashtra Police Act at every step. So my knowledge of LLB, if I am appearing for MPSC, UPSC, I have great chances of passing out.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, one more question. Our
Yeah.
student has asked that can we have opportunities to practice as a as a lawyer in an international air and space laws? Air and space laws, sir. Any
Yeah, I know,
opportunity in practice?
Yeah, but for that in India, hardly there is scope is involved, number one. As I said,
Okay.
all air related, aviation related, space related, these are much prevalent in USA.
Okay.
Let me tell you. I'm very, very afraid that we are having I mean, there is very little scope in India as of now. Let me tell you. Apart from sending some satellites, we have not much developed. Technologically, we have definitely developed, but when it comes to legal issues, because there is no such dispute, there is no such private, somebody is sending a private astronaut or somebody is sending private satellite and having a dispute with the government, then you have to demand some compensation or there is dispute with the government. That is not a case over here.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sir,
one
one
more
question was there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sir, one question is there. Sir,
Sir, any
one
legal
question is there.
opportunities in
Can I
Indian
ask you?
Army? Student bhi पूछ रहे हैं. Sir, one more question.
Hello.
Yeah.
Participants,
Sir, any legal
Hello.
opportunities in Indian Army?
Army, yes, Army Tribunal is there. Definitely. Court martials are conducted in the army or defense related establishments. So there definitely same scope, very good scope. Very few people pursue that. Yes. For the
Hello,
court
sir.
martials, they do
Thank you,
require a
sir.
good number of lawyers.
Hello, sir. Just I want to ask, sir,
Yeah.
for MAT court, for
MAT.
government cases,
Yeah.
is there any requirement for work with that senior lawyer or direct we can practice in MAT court?
Okay, you practice. I mean, after obtaining LLB.
Getting some
Yeah.
experience with
No. After obtaining LLB, once you Bar Council of Maharashtra gives an accreditation, Sanat, what we call, and after you pass out Bar Association of India's examination, you are entitled to practice anywhere in India.
independently we can practice.
Yes,
no?
but at your risk. If
Okay.
you are having not much experience, not much exposure to the law,
Yes, sir.
basically, if you don't have exposure of civil services,
Yes,
what is the MCS 1979 is, how the your petition is required to be drafted,
Yes,
with the arguments of your petition, what is the case of your client, whether
Yes,
he has
sir.
been removed, suspended, or is facing some kind of action, etc. Whether the
Yes.
nature of punishment awarded is appropriate or not. Unless you know the nicety, never take a risk of taking the brief. Otherwise, you will be causing great risk to your client to lose his brief, as well as you will be spoiling your own name. And if you meet with the failures in the initial phase of your life, then you
Yes.
might have a second thought whether to continue or not, because series after series, you will be losing the matters.
Yes.
So never have a over adventure, over zealousness will
Yes, sir.
ruin your matter and will ruin your professional career too.
Okay. We have to work
Okay.
with that senior level. Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Sir, because of time concern, now we
Yeah.
are ending the question answer session.
Okay.
And I welcome Sundaram to give or present vote of thanks to sir on behalf of Dr. D.Y. Patil Law College. Yes, Sundaram.
I thank you a lot, sir, for Bosnian. Now Honorable Professor Dr. S.S. Gopakumar for giving valedictory vote of thanks. So,
Thank you, Sundaram. Honorable Chief Guest, our Chairman Dr. P.D. Patil sir, our Secretary Somnath Patil sir, our beloved Principal Ujjwala Shinde ma'am. I consider it as a privilege to have been asked to propose vote of thanks in this special occasion, wherein which today we have a special guest, that is none other than Ganesh Sonavane sir. And here, what I want to tell you is that mostly we used to teach the legal provisions and explanations, illustrations, case laws. But many of the time, by knowingly or unknowingly, we are not in a position to convey them. What are the legal avenues which are there once they complete their law course? Obviously, as far as Ganesh Savani sir is concerned, he is such an enthusiastic personality to share his knowledge and guide the students. And I cannot tell you how much we are happy and delighted with sir's cooperation, because sir had conducted a special session for the faculty members 2 days back, wherein which sir had given you a lot of knowledge to enlighten our own students under various circumstances. And as each and everyone knows that the knowledge, that is the only thing which you share, it will increase. All other assets, what we have, whenever we share, obviously it may decrease. So Sonavane sir, Ganesh Savani sir is such an ideal person who is having that mind to, what we can say, promote and share his knowledge to other students. And he in a very brief time conveyed what are the various avenues which are available for the students as and when they complete their law course. As you know that conventionally earlier, when we completed law, only the main concern is go to the court and practice. After 5 years or 6 years, either we can go for what we can say that judicial officer or public prosecutor, assistant public prosecutor, etc. But after the globalization and liberalization, there are a number of avenues which are available for the students to participate in the legal profession. Obviously, certain point of time, many of them may not be aware about that. In that circumstances, such kind of enlightened lectures obviously will help the students to choose while they are in the law college itself. I express my sincere gratitude, sir, to Ganesh Savani sir for his willingness and the way in which he delivered the lecture. Obviously, our students and those who have participated in this webinar might have understood many aspects and various avenues which are available for the an individual or student who complete their law course. I once again express my sincere gratitude on behalf of our D.Y. Patil Vidya Pratishthan Society, D.Y. Patil Unitest Societies, Dr. D.Y. Patil Law College, and on behalf of all our faculty members and principal. And in addition to that, this webinar is arranged with the what we can say complete cooperation and enthusiasm of our beloved principal ma'am Ujjwala Shinde.
Hello sir, hello.
Without her help, it would not have happened. So I express my sincere thanks to ma'am also, and also my colleagues. They are actively coordinating with the various areas regarding technical supporting, regarding question answer sessions. So I express my sincere gratitude to one and all present here and cooperate with us. I once again I express my sincere thanks to Ganesh Savani sir, and we hope that we will meet again. And thank you, thanks a lot, thank you all.
My pleasure also. Okay, see you for day after tomorrow, 13th.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Participants, the links are given. Link is given in the chat box. Please fill the feedback form. Accordingly, you will receive the certificates also. Please note that, please.
Okay, I'm leaving now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
everybody.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.